Jeff Slauson here from 19 News Now at the 19 News Digital Desk. Welcome to our latest coverage here relating to internet service in the city of Cleveland. For those of you that have been following along to our digital coverage over the past couple of years, we've actually hit on this quite a bit, essentially since 2 years ago. When Mayor Justin Bibb was appointed mayor here in the city of Cleveland, he announced plans to improve internet service to the city. And not just regular internet service, but high-speed internet service. This may not seem like a big deal for those that gain access to internet service at an easier rate, but as you look here, so you're seeing a lot of handshaking, a lot of congratulations here. Governor Mike DeWine is going to be making an appearance today and announcing new state initiatives into the city of Cleveland. You see the mayor, or the governor on the right-hand side there behind the mayor here, improving not only internet service, but the strength of it as well. The city of Cleveland has been very patchy, I think is the most polite way to say it, with the service. And in particular, it's more so, you hear of food deserts, right, where if there's not a grocery store within a 1 mile walk, that area is considered a food desert. Here in the city of Cleveland, in particular in certain pockets on the east side, on the southern portion of the city, we see pockets where internet access is very much so at a reduced rate. It's depleted and is not nearly to the point that it needs to be, especially when you consider how there's been such an increase in children needing to work and play and go to school from home. So this new initiative from the governor, we didn't learn too much on this, but a significant expansion into the access to low cost, which is a biggie, high-speed internet service across the city. A couple of years ago, we focused on a story about a local company that was focusing specifically on that. They were going to put towers on top of different buildings. Those towers would then bring high-speed internet to many different areas. What we're trying to figure out now, what we will hopefully learn, is if that's going to be the case with this, if there's going to be an investment from that company specifically for this low-cost internet. Maybe there's an expansion in that. Now, that was announced, I believe, yeah. So there was an update to that in September of this year for this new internet service. But that improved broadband access was supposed to start in a few weeks. It seems that now, as you can see on the left-hand side, look at the differences on just those maps on the left-hand side there of the coverage. Again, this is going to become high speed. We can't just have dial-up internet anymore, and that is unfortunately what some people still do have. We're just waiting for everybody to take their seats here until we can officially start this press conference. But again, this low-cost, community-level beneficiary or benefited service is something that can't be understated, especially in what we've been seeing. All right, there we go. As they're starting to slowly get ready for this, but there was $20 million put toward this from the city of Cleveland, and that again was in September of this year. The company is called Digital C. Myself, our own Angie Rodriguez, also did stories on this. Additionally, and to focus on the specific impacts this could have. But again, $20 million was put toward from the city for this to happen. Now it seems that there's going to be some state intervention. We take you live now to this press conference. Governor Mike DeWine, Lieutenant Governor John Husted in attendance, in addition to Mayor Justin Bibb.
So, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Yeah, that was all right. So today, there's a lot of things I want to express, and I will. We have a full run of show in front of us, but I want to express a sincere thanks to everyone who came out today. This is obviously a groundbreaking announcement that we'll be making, as evidenced by who's in the room and the way this room is set up. But I'm tasked with today not only introducing our famed speaker in the room, but also welcoming you all to this space. So for many of you, you've been here before. This is the Midtown Tech Hive, Digital C's headquarters, and I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that 100 years ago, this space was actually an auto dealership, and they would actually show cars in this very building. And many of the elevator machinery that would raise the cars, and for those who actually want to see this building at some other time, I'm absolutely open to doing that. But the machinery is actually still operable. That was machinery that was put in over 100 years ago. It's still operable. And the value of building infrastructure that's built to last is not missed on me. And that's actually what we're here to discuss today. I'd also highlight that the fact that this was a dealership and showcasing vehicles that got Clevelanders driving, I have to make the extended metaphor that this is the same thing that we're doing here to getting Clevelanders driving on the information superhighway as we roll out our next generation infrastructure at Digital C. Now, thank you. The mayor led that one. Now, again, I'm going to share much more about Digital C later on when I come back up to this podium, but you're going to hear from a litany of speakers today. And I know that we have a run a show, and each of the speakers is going to introduce the other, but I do feel that it's necessary for me to even express the way I feel about each one of these speakers. So, you know, from Council President Blaine Griffin, I had the fortune of working with him when I was at the Cleveland Foundation, and we were looking at ways to expand infrastructure in the Fairfax neighborhood. And so this isn't just a moment where we're celebrating what we've been able to accomplish together at the council table and what we're announcing today. This is something that goes back a long time. You've been a long-time champion for digital equity, so I appreciate your leadership, and I'm thankful for that. To Mayor Justin Bibb, you know, we are both young brothers who we can't grow beards, but but you know, there's obviously been a long time mutual respect. And as we are on the eve of Dr. King's birthday, you know, it's an honor to be able to share what his legacy and how it's impacted us, that we're able to walk forward in that legacy of young black brothers in very successful positions, and I'm thankful to share that with you. To Lieutenant Governor John Husted, you've been a longtime champion of innovation in Cleveland. I remember when you actually gave your remarks at the Blockland Summit that we did here. And you were very powerful at that time, and you were actually one of the very few public officials in the country who was actually on the right side of history on that. And so not only do you have a legacy of innovation there, you also have a legacy of calling out big tech, and I'm thankful for that. And so your legacy of being able to be at the forefront of innovation, it's felt here, and we're thankful to be a benefactor of that. And to Governor Mike DeWine, you know, you're a friend of Digital C. You've been a long time, obviously, successful public official, and we're thankful for that. We're thankful for the announcement today, and we see this as actionable digital equity. When I say actionable digital equity, we've done a great job, cities across the country and states across this country, of being able to highlight the need for digital equity. That's a talking point. That's not actionable yet. It's only actionable when you see this room and you see what we're committed to doing. So I thank you for being an actionable public official and taking the digital divide seriously, and I'm thankful to be in this room with you today. And I introduce Governor Mike DeWine.
Joshua, thank you very much. It is great to be with all of you. Mayor, good to see you, as always. Council President Griffin, good to see you, and everyone associated today with Digital C. This is, I think, a very happy and exciting day for all of us. We're all here, and this is, first, let me just say, a joint effort. And so you're going to hear that, I think, theme throughout this. It takes a lot of people, a lot of organizations, public, private, to make this happen. Today we're announcing a new project to put low-cost, high-speed internet within reach of every Cleveland resident, every single resident. Now, we all know that having access to the internet is absolutely vital today, absolutely necessary for living and thriving in today's world. But unfortunately, we all know that reliable, low-cost connections are lacking in many communities throughout the state, and including Cleveland. That's why about 4 years ago, Lieutenant Governor Husted and I made an announcement. We announced the creation of what we called Broadband Ohio, which is really an office within the Ohio Department of Development that is dedicated to improving access to high-speed internet throughout the state of Ohio. Today we're announcing that plans to significantly expand high-speed wireless internet in Cleveland are officially moving forward, with the build-out of a low-cost, dependable, citywide broadband network, all starting next month. To get the project off the ground, we are providing Digital C with a $10 million grant. This grant is to build the network's infrastructure, and you'll see the map behind us. The network is going to roll out in various phases, and you can see it right on these maps with full coverage. The goal, Mayor and I were talking about this, the goal is to have coverage all across Cleveland within 18 months. So the mayor told me he's going to be checking on the progress about every day, right, Mayor? This support, combined with funding from the city, private sources, will allow Digital C to offer every household in the city access to this network at a relatively low cost. The rate of $18 a month. $18 a month will be locked in at least for the next decade, only allowing for changes due to inflation after the 5th year. We couldn't be prouder to collaborate on an opportunity like this that will benefit so many people in Cleveland. We know that too many people in our urban communities lack basic connectivity or the digital skills needed to accomplish some of the everyday tasks that many of us simply take for granted. Things like working from home, getting an online education, catching up with loved ones, or even seeing a doctor. This investment, our collective effort, will make a real noticeable difference for the people in the community. Now, we know projects like this work. We've seen the impact of them in numerous communities in Ohio and even other parts of the county. In July 2022, we awarded nearly $10 million to help expand internet access to roughly 25,000 Cuyahoga County households. In that project, the goal was also to provide high-speed internet at a relatively low cost. Just like that project, this new one will include digital literacy training to ensure that everyone has the knowledge and skills to use the internet safely and effectively. With the completion of both projects, the Cleveland metro area will have almost full internet coverage. Projects like this don't come together without collaboration and without a sincere desire to make a difference in the lives of Ohioans. So we are proud, as I said, of the partnership with Mayor Bibb, Cleveland City Council, Digital C, and everyone who's involved in this citywide broadband expansion. So today is a celebration of great things yet to come for all the citizens of the city of Cleveland. Now, I'm very honored to introduce my friend, the Honorable Mayor Bibb. Come on up. Great to see you. And I see, I got the look from the mayor. He says you're one off. And I think I was one off. I was supposed to introduce John, right?
Yeah.
So you guys, we can flip it.
Yeah, we'll flip.
We'll flip a coin, whichever way you guys want to do this.
Exactly. Well, first, I want to just give the governor a happy belated birthday. Governor, it's a great birthday gift for you in Cleveland. But I want to just thank Governor DeWine and Lieutenant Governor John Husted for their support and partnership. These two men truly believe that Ohio's comeback starts right here in Northeast Ohio. And this $10 million investment today is a testament to their commitment to putting their money where their mouth is. So thank you both, Governor DeWine and Lieutenant Governor John Husted, for your partnership. We appreciate it so much. I think it's also important to recognize all the amazing work that happened before today's announcement. As you know, in 2020, at the height of the pandemic, Cleveland was ranked one of the most least connected cities in the nation, at the bottom of the list. And as the pandemic took shape, then the City Council allocated $20 million to make sure we had a strategy to go from being the least connected to now one of the most connected cities in America. So I want to thank Council President Blaine Griffin, and also Councilman Brian Casey, who chairs our Public Utilities Committee, for helping to spearhead this critical legislation and get it to the finish line. We couldn't do it without you, so thank you so much to our friends and partners at City Council. As the governor mentioned, there's a lot of great benefits to this investment. First and foremost, the speed that residents will have access to now is 7 times faster than the speed that Netflix recommends. So I know a lot of our residents are excited about that. I see he's clapping already about it. But it also is going to allow folks to have access to reliable, affordable internet. And as we saw during the pandemic, when many of our scholars were going to a McDonald's parking lot to do their homework, or going to a bus stop to download their homework through the pandemic. That is not acceptable in Cleveland or anywhere in our country. And so it's so important that we had a strategy to make sure that every resident had access to affordable internet. The other thing that's important about this effort, and this is why I'm so excited, that Digital C, a grassroots-based community nonprofit, is leading this work. Because for a lot of our residents, they don't have the time, the money, or unfortunately, the technical know-how to navigate all the complicated paperwork. And so Digital C is going to knock on doors with both high-tech and low-tech solutions to make sure that every resident has the ability to get connected in a way that meets their everyday lived experience. So I'm so excited about the work you're leading at Digital C, Josh. Thanks so much for your leadership as well, too. So as we conclude, I want to pass the baton to Lieutenant Governor. I was thinking about my first experience as a child getting connected to the internet. I think it was 1997, 1998. I had my first Hotmail account. I went to the East 131st Street branch of the Cleveland Public Library, and almost every day after school, I was there obsessed with learning what the internet was all about. Now, as I reflect on where we're going as a city, whether it be in Mount Pleasant, Glenville, West Park, or downtown, every child, black, white, Latino, every child in our city will now have the ability to explore a whole new world that's out there, from quantum computing to AI to building the great new business right here in Cleveland. So this is about our city, but it's also about the next generation. So congratulations, everybody. Let's get to work. Appreciate it so much. Now I'll pass the baton to my friend, our Lieutenant Governor, John Husted. Lieutenant Governor.
I had this elaborate introduction for the mayor, Governor. But I do know this, that the mayor, one of the things I admire about him is has enthusiasm and optimism about the city of Cleveland. He wants to improve its image, as does the rest of the city council and the leaders here. And today is a tangible step towards making a lot of that happen. And as the governor mentioned, when we founded Broadband Ohio over 4 years ago, we knew that there was a problem, that there were millions at that point in time, millions of people in the state of Ohio who didn't have access to high-speed internet. And we have a great resource, by the way, in Peter Vodeberg, who's sitting right back there. Peter has done a great job. But we've been investing across the state of Ohio. So far, thanks to the General Assembly's support, we've been able to leverage $250 million in public funds and another $250 million in private funds to expand high-speed internet services around the state. A lot of that has been in Appalachia. And they have a particularly difficult problem there. But so do cities, because the economics a lot of times does not work for both the infrastructure but also the affordability side, which if you have the infrastructure without the affordability, you haven't really solved the problem for a lot of people. And I have been saying this since the beginning, and it's even more true every day, is that you cannot participate in the modern economy, education, or healthcare systems without access to high-speed internet. It's just not possible. It creates a divide of opportunity. That means that when this is done in a very short period of time, we're going to keep everybody on task to get this done, right? There are going to be 170,000 more households that will be able to work from home, that will be able to participate in aspects of the economy that they previously couldn't. That can change the way that we think about workforce and economic opportunity with the connectivity that we can help people have access to. It's also a matter of educational opportunity? Do you know the number of college courses and credits and credentials and other things that are now available online? But if you don't have access to high-speed internet, you can't participate in those opportunities. And then finally, healthcare. There are a lot of elderly people who cannot get to a doctor very easily, and they may have a concern, and just a quick telehealth visit would allow them to alleviate that concern or get the help that they need. Or, as we've seen, particularly with addiction treatment, telehealth is a great way to get access to counselors in a world where they're overwhelmed and we don't have enough of them. All of these opportunities are created and solutions are provided with access to high-speed internet. And that's why it's worth celebrating. It's 170,000 households of people who now have new opportunities or soon will. But I'm also going to remind everybody of this. Building it out's a challenge. One of the good news things in Ohio right now is that we have more jobs than people to fill them. The bad news is when you're trying to build high-speed internet, we have more jobs than we have people to do it, right? So we're building out that network of training centers and facilities. And I know Cleveland State and the Cuyahoga County Workforce Board just got a Super Rapids grant to help build some of the training facilities. But there are a number of job opportunities that come with this through fiber optic technician programs, telecommunications tower technicians, utility installation program resources, and the broadband infrastructure training programs to help with all of this. These are job opportunities as well. And some of them, you can earn the credential to do this in weeks. So these are opportunities as well. And so it's great to see everybody collaborating on this. The funding's great, but now the work begins, because you see all that. That's a lot of infrastructure to get built in 18 to 24 months. We want to skew towards 18 rather than 24, but got to get it done, because every day that it takes is an opportunity that someone is missing to participate in all of these wonderful opportunities. So thank you for the team and those who pulled the $50+ million together to get this going. And now it's my privilege to introduce Blaine Griffin, the Cleveland City Council President, to come talk about the city's commitment and what this is going to mean for the people you serve as well. Thank you.
Good afternoon. So first of all, I want to just say thank you to the governor and to the lieutenant governor, as well as to Digital C. And I will just tell everyone this brief story. When the pandemic hit, I got a visit from a group of young people, and they said, we want to go door to door and convince people to sign up for internet in the Fairfax neighborhood. And that made me a believer in Digital C at that time. So with the new leadership of Joshua and all of your board and all of your supporters, I know that we'll get this done. I know that council has put some tough challenges ahead of everyone. But we believe in you, and we believe in this product, and we believe that this is going to be transformational for the city of Cleveland. So thank you all so much. I always have to acknowledge all of my colleagues that are here today. We have the privilege and honor of being in the great Ward 7, where Stephanie House-Jones is the leader of this area, if she could raise her hand. You heard the mayor mentioned earlier, Councilman Brian Casey, the chair of Utilities Committee. The majority leader and my right-hand person on Cleveland City Council, Carrie McCormick. The Dean of Cleveland City Council, Mike Polisic. And then I thought I seen my very good friend, the councilman for Ward 9, Kevin Conwell, walk in somewhere, but Kevin Conwell's here as well. I heard the mayor say that he got his first Hotmail account sometime in the late 90s. And it made me think about my first interaction. And needless to say, mine was on an Apple computer with an MS-DOS system. So we're a long way away from that right now. And I would just tell everyone that, we're past the days when internet is viewed as a luxury. It's a necessity for day-to-day life. Our families, as you heard all of the previous speakers before me, and our loved ones need it to work from home, for virtual learning for young people. We know that the workforce is heavily reliant upon the internet and the Internet of Things. And then we mentioned about healthcare, where we have the largest employer and the premier healthcare institution in the world with the Cleveland Clinic and University Hospitals and Metro and others that do a great job, that need that access to their patients that are in their homes. But then also some of just the small things. I know the mayor mentioned somewhat about entertainment, but a lot of people use this service just to worship on Sunday morning or Wednesday afternoon. So it is a way of life to have this now. A recent study revealed that a third of Cleveland households do not have home internet access. And I actually believe that that percentage may be larger. My colleagues on Cleveland City Council are proud to have understood the gravity of this moment and set aside $20 million in 2021 to initiate a partnership with Digital C that we knew would yield a collaboration that you're seeing here today, because it truly does take alignment and partnership and a collaboration to make great things happen in any city. Government cannot do it alone. We're ecstatic about that 2021 action, leading to us being able to invest $20 million in the American Rescue Plan Act dollar, funding a jumpstart and expanded the enhanced investment that is being announced today. More speed, higher speeds. So we made that investment with the foresight that we will be able to connect all of Cleveland. So I commend my colleagues for making that tough decision. That was not an easy decision to make at the time, and was done after a lot of deliberation before council. We recognize this investment would and should be scrutinized, not just by our members, but by external members in the community. Not only will we be holding Digital C accountable or anybody else accountable, Governor, we will be holding ourselves accountable to make sure that the people in this community will get the access that they need. I am honored and privileged that you're going to get a chance to see one of my friends and my residents, Mr. Andrew Leff, who is a constituent in Ward 6 in the Fairfax community, that I get the honor to introduce in a moment, that shows the face of the people that will benefit from this investment. I want to commend again, if I could, my colleague, Councilman Brian Casey. Being a council person is a tough job, but Councilman Casey really rolled up his sleeves and really wanted to understand this whole challenge that was put before him, which I kind of gave him the task of working out. And he became an expert at this, and I think we all owe him a round of applause for the work that he did to make this happen. After all, this is a huge investment for our residents and our city's educational attainment and our economic development. Right outside of these doors is one of the biggest trunk lines of fiber optic cords connecting the Central Business District to the Cleveland Clinic and our Eds and Meds district. So we understand what this investment means to the city of Cleveland. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of all of Cleveland City Council, we believe that this investment is going to be transformational. We'd like to thank all of the partners, the state, Mandel Foundation, all of the other foundations, and especially Digital C for taking on this task. We look forward to working with you to make this a smashing success. Thank you. I forgot to introduce Joshua.
It's all right. Nice. Right on time. So, you know, everyone is expressing thanks today, and as I look around the room, I'm not going to make the political mistake and singling people out to thank. Well, not everyone, but there are some people I absolutely do need to thank. First and foremost, the Digital C Board. The Digital C Board has done a phenomenal job in supporting us through our efforts and ensuring that everything that we're saying here today Well, they vetted us. And more specifically, they vetted me because when they did the executive search, I had to go through them. And I made a promise at that time to that board that I told them I don't have the experience of some of the more experienced telecom execs that were also interviewing for the position. And I don't have the technical ability of some of these more proficient network engineers. But what I did promise that I would bring was certainty, that I was certain that everything that I was going to do in this city was going to be for the eradication of the digital divide. And through that certainty, the board has been a guiding light and a continuous support for everything we've been able to do and everything we will do at Digital C. So I do want to give a shout out to the Digital C board. And I also have to mention the Mandel and Myers Foundations. They have been phenomenal supporters of Digital C when things were rough, things were looking tough. They were there. They were very committed. Leslie Dunn and Mark Medeja are both here. Leslie will call me, and she is an attorney, and and the way those questions come in, she has not lost any of that. But I'm thankful for that. That type of leadership is what's exactly needed for us to get the job done. My internal team has heard me say at length, this moment requires this of us. It requires us to be able to, one, not take things personal, and two, see the greater good of the moment and be able to put our egos aside. And I'm thankful for everybody who's been able to continuously pour in that way. Now, one thing before I introduce our customer, I want to share a little bit more about Digital C because it's necessary. So Digital C was created in 2015, or rather I should say incorporated. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. Now, I like to say since taking over, we are a technology social enterprise or a mission-based business. Make no mistake, while our product is $18 a month, it's because we make it $18 a month. That product in any other marketplace would not be $18 a month. When Jose Valdez, who's my chief operating officer and right-hand man, when we both came on board, we were talking to other internet providers. We were saying what we were deploying, and the other internet providers were like, for 18, we would do 70. In most other marketplaces, this product triples in price. This is what happens when we agree to providing an affordable and reliable solution. Again, it's only affordable in price. What we are deploying is not discounted technology. We make it discounted because that's the mission, and it requires us to do that. The other part of this equation, as you look at the space that we're in, not only is this space, by day, a co-working space. We offer day passes at $10 a day, not a month. No, $10 a day. Not only is it that, we also house the Hive Cafe that's staffed by Chef Stacy Stoudemire. This is a small black woman-owned business that provides incredible food that I do eat every single day. And aside from the cafe space and that back room over there, that's our large classroom. Our team actually does provide training in that building, or in that class. We've been doing that since this building's opened, but the trainings are around how to protect yourselves online, how to actually create a social media account. See, whenever you're rolling out any type of product, whether it's internet or any type of next generation technology, it's a requirement for us to always reach back and ensure that those who might be falling behind, that we take them with us. Because if not, thank you, if not, that's going to create its own digital divide. And so we are very aware that whenever we say the digital divide, yes, it boils down to those who have access to technology and those who don't, but the digital divide is a paradigm of inequity. And I need people to understand that it's a paradigm. So what you're seeing today is a paradigm shift. When we are deploying next generation technology at $18 a month, prioritizing affordability, not sacrificing on quality, that doesn't happen. That's not normal. People don't do that. Companies definitely don't do that. With everything getting more expensive these days, you expect the quality to be less. In this case, that's different. And so as you look at Digital C, this is an organization that saw the pervasive digital redlining and said, no, we're going to stand up against that. Many of you heard me say that we are a digital greenlining organization. This is exactly what we set out to do. When I had the distinct privilege and honor of serving as a public service fellow at the Chicago Metropolitan Housing Authority under Jeff Patterson, we had an incredible time figuring out how we were going to bridge the digital divide then for those residents. And my first interaction with Digital C was actually at the old Cedar High Rise, where we were deploying technology there. And that technology is still there to this day. And so I do have to commend the leadership of the Chicago Metropolitan Housing Authority as well, that they saw that need when President Obama rolled out the Connect Home initiative, and CMHA was one of the first sites in the country that said, we want to bridge the digital divide for our residents. And so as I look at both some of these organizations that are present today and Digital C's longstanding record of providing digital equity in many cases where others weren't or didn't have the ability or funding, this is something where this is a moment where we don't take this lightly. And so today we have a customer of ours, Andrew Leff. I met Andrew when we did our public meeting here. Many of you all might have remembered that many moons ago. It's actually 6 months ago. But when we had a public meeting here and we began talking about what we were actually offering Cleveland residents, because that was the thing. You heard us say low cost, high speed, but how are we actually going to do that? This diagram behind me, not the phase build out, but the diagram behind me represents a map of 120 sites. Those 120 towers are the towers that we're going to be bringing live through our partnership with Crown Castle, American Tower, and Toronto Wireless, who is here today. And through that partnership, we're able to deploy these towers, and we've actually already deployed a few because we wouldn't be standing up here today, and I wouldn't be as confident if we didn't do it. Trust me. So trust but verify, we absolutely did deploy these, and in this weather, it's nothing to us. And so as we're deploying these towers are going to go live, and immediately when this tower is live, we're going to go to the next one, then the next one, then the next one. And Lieutenant Governor, the 24 months, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I agree. Chairman Casey, nope, not over 24. 18. We're not going over 18 either. We're committed to that. We said 18. We're standing behind 18. So in 18 months, this entire city will be covered with affordable, high-speed internet provided and powered by Digital C. And as you look at this, now that's 120 towers that we have on there. Now, we're committed to efficiency. That's what a business would do. And our commitment to efficiency, Jose Valdez has had a phenomenal job of identifying ways that we can maximize the reach of our towers, which then allows us not to deploy 120 of them either. And thankfully, the Toronto technology actually allows us to do that. So don't hold me to the 120, but absolutely hold me to the 18 months, and absolutely hold me to it being citywide. And so as we look at the future for Digital C, not only did we agree within the first year to sign up 3,500 residents to our high-speed internet, we also said that we were going to train 7,500 residents to our digital skilling training next year. With a grand total at the end of the 4 years for the RFP that we received from the city, 23,500 households minimum will have access and will be paying subscribers on our network. And so that 23,500, that is the percentage of Clevelanders that we see persistently lacking affordable, high-speed internet. And again, that's the baseline for us. 50,000 residents and households will be able to take advantage of our digital skilling and our digital training. And so as you are looking at this stuff, this isn't just a few households. We're doing this at scale because we're committed to that because this moment requires us to do that. Anything short of that, well, we're not bridging the digital divide. We're bridging a divide. But that is not the digital divide that needs to be bridged. Anything short of that. If there is one household, by the time this is all said and done, that is still unconnected or underconnected, we have a responsibility to figuring out a way to connect those households. And I know with everybody in this room that that's what we're going to do. Now, back to Mr. Leff. So Andrew Leff, as a longstanding customer of Digital C in the Fairfax neighborhood, you've been able to be a beneficiary of, one, our legacy infrastructure, as well as our new infrastructure. And so today, yes, Carl, I see you. And so today, I do want to invite you to the podium and to share more about your experience with Digital C. You can go on the legacy, but absolutely on the new network as well. So thank you, Mr. Leff.
Thanks for everyone for having me here today. I definitely want to thank Josh and Digital C, because without it, I wouldn't have known this was happening today because without internet, you're out of the loop. Also, the governor, lieutenant governor, mayor, and definitely city councilman, president, being in your ward, the fact that you got that, someone came to knock on my door. Without that, I wouldn't be the happy subscriber that I am today. I was ecstatic when I was first connected, because the service that I had previous to having Digital C show up in my home was 6 megabytes. And I hate to say it, but I live walking distance to the Cleveland Clinic, the number one hospital, depending on you ask, number one hospital in the world. I guarantee you, they weren't getting 6 megabyte service at the hospital. However, because I'm suddenly on the wrong side of the tracks, but in the right neighborhood, as far as I'm concerned, I was less important, and Digital C changed that for me. Now with the new layout, this sort of new rollout that just came within the last month or so to my home, I am happy, proud, ecstatic to say that last night when I checked it on speed test, I had 126 megabyte speed through my home. I mean, even just because AT&T promised me 6 doesn't mean that you get 6. That was their thing, and they were charging me full price. I had moved from still in Ward 6, but closer to Shaker Square, which seemingly was someone decided was a better place than Fairfax is. I don't know how they decide that, but without internet, life doesn't go on. Luckily, I was one of the first people to find out about it because I do live in Fairfax, and walking distance to the, I could literally see the tower on the top of the Juvenile Justice Hall, so I got, great speed. But suddenly, right after I hooked up, was the height of the pandemic. I mean, I started in the beginning of 2020, and everyone knows that by April, we were on complete lockdown. Before, I lived in my home for about a month, because when I moved from Shaker Square to Fairfax, because I hadn't been with AT&T, they made me commit for a whole nother year. They took me, I signed, I had no choice. I had to have internet when I moved. I mean, I was living in a home, I bought a little duplex. I was living upstairs. I had tenants downstairs. I was working on the downstairs. So I got tenants in, and I realized that it wasn't fair for my tenants to have to share a ceiling or a floor with their landlord. Nobody likes that. It wasn't good for me. It wasn't good for them. I found a cute little home, even older in Fairfax, but in what I considered to be a great neighborhood. And suddenly I have to go to the library if I need to do anything more than make a text message or phone call, or watch just basic TV. And then now we've got the lockdowns. Libraries are closed. What does one do? Like everyone else, I was sitting in McDonald's some of those days, but with Digital C, I can get my tenants. One of my tenants had COVID. I'm not going to your house if you have COVID to collect the rent. With the internet, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, any of those things, the world continues to exist. The banks were closed. I'm not going to the bank. I'm not going anywhere. I'm a senior citizen. I can't have people coughing all over me. Nothing personal, but it's just the way that it is. Walmart. Who wants to go to Walmart when in the height of the pandemic? Without Walmart.com and internet, one doesn't eat. I mean, everything. The world exists. I took classes through Tri-C and their Encore 55 Plus program. They were online without WebEx, which wouldn't have worked with 6 megabyte internet. I wouldn't have been able to do those things. Everything that I've done since I moved into my home has been around the internet. I mean, it's a sad fact of the current world is that without internet, it's not really a life. And it's got to be affordable. I feel bad. My tenants currently are not in a service area at the moment. However, I've discussed it with a few people today, and that should be rectified. Currently, they're when someone's rent is $600 a month, $70 for internet is a lot of money. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, my tenants deserve it just like I deserve it, and just like everyone else in here and everyone else in the world deserves affordable, high-speed internet. It's not a question, it's a fact. And luckily, all you people in the front row and the guys in the back row and my favorite technicians out there that have hooked me up when I've had a couple of problems along the way, couldn't have made it the last 4 years without you. Thank you very much.
Nice. So at this time, I would like to invite the media to ask any questions that you might have for any of the speakers or myself included.
How do we go about rolling it out, letting people know they're going to see this on TV tonight and want to know how they can take part?
Wonderful. So the first things that residents can do, they can call actually our hotline to get on our wait list. I would argue that majority of the people are going to be on the wait list right now because we're currently building the network. But they can call 216-777-3859. Oh, that sounded professional, right? 216-777-3859. Might I add that that's actually managed by the Cleveland Site Center, so even our call center is local. We're not going to route you overseas. But the entire experience is meant to be local. So we, in addition to having the call center, we also are going to be going out in the neighborhoods. We're going to be doing our door knocking. I've done it already, and we're going to keep doing that too, as mentioned by the council president, that not only are we going to be on the street knocking on doors, we're also going to be doing events even at the Tech Hive. We're going to be launching an event series later on this year. But the entire purpose for what we're trying to do, whether it be social media or on the street, it's getting as many people to know as possible. And so I do have an ask even for the people in this room that we need to let people know that this is becoming or made available. They can also go to our website, www.digitalc.org. Nice. Now, hold on. I will add. I will add. Thank you. I will add that in that back room over there, for folks who have more advanced questions around our technology, I definitely want you all to ask those questions. We didn't really cover the technology as much because I know my audience, but Carl from Tirana is actually here too, and as well as our technicians who can explain what our technology is going to be deploying in that room in the back over there. So thank you all for coming out today.
All right, so yeah, that's they're including Digital C in this, which is the company that was starting to build this out. Now with the state investment, this should make far more advancements than were before to connect the city of Cleveland with high-speed internet in a way that has never, ever been seen up until now. All right, we're going to have more on this and the other stories of the day today on 19 News. Our coverage starts 3 o'clock over on CBS for 3.5 hours of nonstop news. We'll see you there.
19 News, now streaming on Sam.